for the last part of the session that we have today, talking about brain injury and early development. But let's start from this point of types of brain injury that we can have in early childhood because of different reasons. It could be different kind of traumas. There could be different viral infections, different vascular injuries, stroke. All those things could make different levels of brain injury in early childhood. Okay, it could be large, something like half of the brain would be involved in this injury. There could be more focal injuries. There could be injuries just in the white matter area. So we can have different types of brain injury in early childhood. Okay, and the question is, if we have an injured brain in early childhood, how the brain would be recovering. And the main issue is, okay, if the area is recover fast after being injured in early childhood, we can understand that that part of the brain is mainly under the effect of nurture compared to nature. But if we make a negative impact on a specific area, and then the area would not be able to recover from that injury, it seems that that area is more sort of hardwire network or area that is mainly based on the gene-based kind of development in the early childhood development, and it is not being very much nurtured by the environment over the time. So if we lose it in early childhood, it could not recover itself by just being exposed to the environment over time. So that is the reason that we think that kind of exploring early childhood development after injury could be really informative in terms of understanding which brain process is more, let's say, nature-based, and which brain process is, or brain area is more nurture-based in its process of development. And people have tried to explore the different scenarios for that. For example, let me just give you one example, and that would give you a sense about how these studies could help us to understand these complex processes. So we provide patients with different stimuli, and these stimuli would have small components. Here we have Z as the kind of local characteristics, and then M as global characteristic, okay? Or having rectangles as the local characteristics, and then triangle as the global characteristics, okay? These are the stimuli that we provide for people. And we know that if we give people these stimuli, the right hemisphere would be mainly involved in global processing. So seeing M here or seeing triangle here would be mainly related to the right hemisphere processes. But left hemisphere is involved in local processing. So seeing Z here or seeing rectangles here would be related to the left hemisphere processing, okay? In this context, if we have a right damage patient, as I've told you, the right-sided would be related to global processes. If we damage the right side, what they can see mainly is just what they see is mainly the local information. So they see the local information well. But if we have the left damage, they can see the global information, not the local information. So this is how visual spatial cognition is working in terms of processing local information or global information. Okay? It's amazing that if you have a kid with right damage, or if you have a kid with left damage in their early childhood, if you give them few years, they can almost completely recover from that, and they can do both local and global processing over the time. But how? With just recruiting that part of the brain that is not being damaged. So if we have a child with right hemisphere injury, they would start to have both local and global processes on the left side. And if you have a child with left hemisphere injury, they can start to do processes all on the right side. So you can see that how brain could be dynamic in the early age because of the exposure and learning regarding the visual spatial cognition and how they learn to make paintings and learn kind of different things related to geometry and shapes in their environment. They can regain that function on the non-affected part of the brain, and they can do process on the other part. This is how we realize that these visual spatial processing are mainly nurtured based. And you probably can train them to the really advanced levels by just doing the training. So they could be easily trained based on their exposure to the environment. Okay, so they are not that much hardwired in the right hemisphere or left hemisphere that they could not be transferred to the other side. But there are specific functions in the brain that when you lose them with the brain injury, they never come back again, and you would never be able to bring them back, even with lots of training on the other part of the brain. So you can see that how these two kind of distinctions in terms of the recovery in different brain functions could show that there are brain functions that are more nurtured based, and there are brain functions who are more based on the genes and the pathways that are being hardwired in the brain. And these are the images that we have for those two kids, that you can see that when they have left hemisphere injury, they have both local and global processing on the right side and global and local processing on the left side, because that the right side is injured or left side is injured. Okay, this is what we needed to discuss about brain injury and early childhood, and as we have discussed, these kind of injuries in early childhood, especially in areas like hippocampus and amygdala, could be really important for the process of social cognition and characters of people. And when we talk about injuries, we are not just talking about external injuries or a stroke or trauma. Stress and early stress, as I have mentioned before, could exactly be the reason for having kind of challenges in certain parts of the brain. So we know that different parts of the brain could be affected by stress as well. But going back to this part, I wanted to kind of conclude the discussions that we had regarding the question that we started from the first part of the class regarding what we have discussed about childhood amnesia, and talking about the discussions that we had in terms of what are the memories that you have in your mind from your past experiences in your early childhood. Pandion, could you show your screen and show us the results that we have? Then I can discuss about some of the implications of that.
Sure, just in a minute or less than a minute.
Okay, so you need 1 minute time. Do we have any question right now? Okay, do we have any question here that people are interested to share?
Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So
as you can screen with something like 100 tabs of open work that we are doing at the same time.
One of the windows. Yeah. So I have 3 windows, each has 100 tabs open. Okay, so the first 2 questions were regarding the gender distribution and also the age of the respondents to the survey. You can see here, but the first question, the first official question of the survey was when you remembered your first memory and the feeling that you had for that memory. And most of you said that the feeling was a positive feeling towards the first memory that you can remember. But 21 or 28% of the respondents said that it was a neutral feeling. and 15% said that it was a bad feeling associated with the first memory. Also, you remembered regarding the second question, regarding the feeling that you have now based on the memory that you retrieved. Most of you, because relatively most of you said that you got a positive feeling when retrieving the memory. And the third question was about the age that you think you were during the memory that you recalled. And I think most of you said that you were about 4 years old in the very specific memory that you retrieved. And interestingly, 5 respondents said that the memory was from when they were 1 year old. So we have some superpower here. And for the fourth question, you said that the memory was from from your own view. So we asked whether you have the objective perspective or the subjective perspective when you think of the memory. And most of you, the majority, said that it was from their own perspective and not the third person view. And the fifth question was about how many memories do you have from your life before the age of 5? And you can see that I guess most of you said that they have 0 memories before the age of 5. And but equally, some of you said that they have 2 and 5 memories before their 5th birthday. And yep.
That's good. That is very interesting. And there are questions and queries in terms of what do these memories mean, and what are even some psychoanalytic implications of these memories. And there are ideas that there might be even some positive or negative events happening in your life that are linked to those memories. I'm not sure, have you ever kind of tried to communicate with a 3 years old or 4 years old kid, but obviously they clearly can make memories. So you can tell them what they have experienced kind of last day or last week, or the things that they have done in their kindergarten, and the experience that they had with their mom a few hours ago. So they are making memories. So we know that kids, even in their really early ages, they can make memories. So we know that kids can make memories. And the question is that why most of these memories are not accessible to people in the later ages. One issue is there any chance that we have what we call a childhood amnesia? So the memories would just get distorted, or they just could get erased because of some evolutionary kind of reasons. And there are ideas that no, we still have those memories, but those memories would get encoded in a way that they are not easy to be retrieved as episodic memories. So what we know in terms of the molecular and cellular neuroscience is that when we go from the age of something like 1 year old to 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, in the process of brain development, we have more neurons in hippocampus. And there is probably hippocampus is one of the areas in the brain that would still do neural cell generation. So they still make new neuron cells in the hippocampus, and this is the process that would be constantly happening even in our adulthood. And those new neurons would make potentials to make new connections, and new connections would mean new memories. What we know that these new connections probably would reshape old memories that we have in our brain and integrate them into new memories in a way that they lose their own identity as independent memories. So we know that the knowledge and memories that we acquire from our early childhood would significantly contribute to whatever memory that we already have, but they might be hard to be retrieved as independent memories from what we learned from kind of other ages. So, for example, if we have good memories from our childhood, it seems that we are making kind of beds or context for other good memories to just get integrated to our early childhood memories. And those early childhood memories would probably dissolve to the older memories in a way that they would be hard to be retrieved as an independent pieces of memory, but they are still there. They are contributing to whatever we have as memories, and they are still there as a part of the identity that we make, and they are a part of the complex memory system, even though that those pieces would be not considered as independent, retrievable pieces of information. So this is the understanding that we already have, and there are definitely lots of interesting psychodynamic kind of implications. I'm not going to the details about those issues. There are specific cases that we can even discuss about them. We do not have time for them. That people try to go into those memories and try to put pieces of memories or pieces of kind of information regarding that memory among other family members to realize what was the actual context that specific memory has been formed inside, trying to understand why that specific piece of memory is now still alive as an independent memory at the age of 2 years old, and why that piece of memory is in the third person eye view or it's a subjective eye view in terms of I can see the memory from my own eyes, or I'm seeing that memory from the third person eye view. There are specific discussions about that. I'm not going to get to the details about that, but it's an interesting scientific inquiry that I highly recommend you to think about that and think about how early exposure to how our early development in making new strong memories could contribute to whoever we are. And I can easily say that definitely kind of helping kids to make strong positive emotional memories and getting connected to their family members, they definitely contribute significantly to how they could be in terms of their mental health in long term, and being able to have the pathways that are essential for their later childhood development and adolescence, being able to communicate properly with their family members and be able to learn other kind of parts of the social interaction in this enriched family context, to be able to be a successful person in a more complex society in the future. Okay, that is the end of the session that we have today.